Take the challenge out of soap making with this simple recipe and easy instructions on adding color and scent to your soap. The first step in making soap is preparing your workspace and gathering all your necessary materials. So here I have my gloves, I have my strainer, my spatula, my thermometer. I have a little silicone placemat that I use to store all of my items. And then of course I have a stick blender. Next, let's prepare the Lye solution. So I'm using Bella Chemical sodium hydroxide, which I got from Walmart. You can order it if they don't have it in the store. And then I also use distilled water, which is best for soap because it provides a consistent starting point. When you use tap water or other type of waters, you run into the risk of having minerals or calcium or other things in the water that could react with your soap. The next step is to measure out your lye, and you want to make sure you are using a heat resistant container. So one of those containers that have the triangle with the 5 in it is a good indicator that it's an okay tool to use for your soap. It's also important to make sure you use a scale to measure out all of your ingredients, but definitely your lye and your distilled water, because too much lye can give you a crumbly texture and can make the soap very unsafe for your skin, and too little lye can make it very soft or sticky with an oily residue, and the soap will definitely go rancid. So it's important to make sure that you have adequately measured out your ingredients. It's also important to add your lye to your water and not the other way around. If water is added to the lye, the concentrated lye at the bottom can quickly generate an intense heat, causing the mixture to bubble, splash, and even erupt. So if you want to be safe and keep your skin intact, then definitely always add the lye to the water. And make sure you mix it in a well-ventilated area. I prefer to do this outside or in the garage with the garage door open, because I want an easy breeze going through there to keep those fumes from going into my lungs and causing me to cough and choke. Next, let's measure out our oil. So we're using olive oil, coconut oil, and castor oil. So we're going to measure this out on a scale to make sure it is adequately measured out. Making sure that you measured everything out is very important for two main reasons. One, for saponification. Saponification is the chemical reaction that occurs when fats or oils come into contact with a strong alkali, which in this case would be sodium hydroxide, and it makes a bar of soap. Measuring out your oils in your lye solution correctly will ensure proper saponification and also give you whatever your achieved desired soap qualities were. Now here's the somewhat fun part. We are going to make our own soap mold out of Tupperware that I got from Walmart. This was under $4. It comes with 10 Tupperware containers for food, but we are going to use them for soap. They also have lids, so it worked out perfectly. So you can use parchment paper to pretty much make anything into a soap mold if you don't have, silicone. So here I am just going to use the parchment paper to measure out over the container so I can get the correct size, or as close to the correct size as possible. And then I'm going to fold the parchment paper over the container so I can get rid of any excess parchment paper. And then I'm going to cut the insides of it in an effort to sort of visually estimate where the inside of the parchment paper would be. And so I cut towards the middle of the container, and then I'm just going to fold all those things over. To make this parchment paper as effective as possible, I'm going to take the two longer ends. I'm going to cut the top of them so that they could cross over the container. And then I'm going to take the middle part, because that's going to keep all the soap in there. And I'm going to use a binder clip or tape to pull that side down. For the longer size, I just use tape. And now you have your own handmade soap mold. And now we are ready to make soap. So we are going to start with our protective gear. So we're going to put on our gloves. We're going to put on a mask. We're going to make sure we have on our long sleeves as well as our long pants because we don't want any lye getting on our skin and burning us. Now we're going to prepare our scent, which we are going to be using lavender essential oil. I got this from Brambleberry. I just have some left over from Brambleberry, but you can get this from Walmart. And I have a link in the description for how you get that. We're also using organic turmeric, and that is from Walmart as well. And we are just going to be measuring it out at a half a teaspoon per pound of soap. We're only making a pound of soap, so I only put a half a teaspoon in there. And then I'm going to use a full teaspoon of oil, well, 2 of them, to mix it. And the reason why I pre-mix it is because sometimes if you just pour the powder directly into the soap once you've mixed it with the lye, there could be little clumps that aren't fully incorporated into the soap, and it'll create speckles in your soap, like speckles of color, which isn't harmful, but I just don't like to see speckles. That's just a personal preference for me. So I pre-mix them to make sure they are all smoothed out before I add the soap. So I already added the lye in there, and now we're just going to mix until we get at least a light trace, because we are going to be using a drop swirl to add our color into the soap, and we want our batter to be very fluid for that. Drop swirls are one of the easiest swirls that you can do, and they are so beautiful. And it is just simply dropping this fluid soap batter into your mold, just like I'm doing here. You can do up and down, you can do side to side, you can do however you want. And some soapers will even add a hanger swirl, but we're not going to do this. We're keeping it simple. So we are just going to drop this soap in there. And the beautiful thing about a classic drop swirl is that each soap bar is going to look different, and you never can duplicate the same bars that you made before because each drop swirl is always different. I choose to texture the soap top with a fork because I just really like forks, but you can use a spoon, you can use a toothbrush, you can use some type of swirling tool. You can really do whatever you want to the soap top. I just like to use the fork, and then I use a little old thermometer to smooth out the top. So after I poured this, I did not spray it with isopropyl alcohol, which I did do with Challenge 1 soap, but I didn't do it with this one because I wanted you to see what could happen if you don't. And what happened is I got soda ash, and soda ash is just when the sodium hydroxide mixes with the oxygen in the air, and it creates this white filmy top, which kind of resembles ash, like ash on your skin, but it's not harmful at all. It's just not that pretty. So I got some soda ash there, and it's not too bad. It could have been a lot worse. And look at the beautiful swirls. Now you can cut your soap with just a regular knife. You don't need a cutter, but I happen to have a cutter, so I'm over here working smarter, not harder, y'all. I hope you all are enjoying this challenge so far, because I am enjoying making these soap bars for you. Please check out day 1 of the challenge if you missed it. Day 3 will be coming out tomorrow. And if you have any questions or any requests, please leave them in the comments. Please let me know if you did make this soap bar, because if you did, I definitely want to see the pictures. You can put them on my Facebook, which will be linked in the description below. And also make sure you hashtag it Soap Star Challenge so I can check it out. And for now, Black Hands are out. Bye bye, guys.